Welcome to the Reflect and Align Masterclass Live. Take two. If you're watching in right now live, just let us know where you're watching from. If you're catching the replay later, let us know in the comments if that's an option. I know that the chat will not be recorded in this platform, in this Mighty Network Live Aligned community. So just make sure you're communicating so that I know what's happening. I wish I knew earlier from the last time that the volume wasn't working, but that's okay. You guys, I'm here for you today. I'm here to serve. I'm really thrilled to go through this process with you. This is not your typical New Year's resolutions. Let's set these things up, rah class, because you guys, those processes don't work. If you saw my Instagram yesterday or Facebook, you'll know that, I posted a statistics that is very tried and tested. 80% of people do not follow through with their resolutions. As of February, 80% of people are not following through. So there's a huge disconnect in what we're doing or what society has told us to do for our resolutions or our goals and what actually brings us success. So don't shoot the messenger. But for this process, have a pen and paper, have some water, and make sure you're interacting in the chat because I love that. I don't want to just talk to myself here on the screen. So this process is going to be really different. I'm going to take you through a heart-centered process, do a little bit of reflection, and then we're going to look forward and focus on different areas of our life that we want to focus on in 2023 from a heart-centered space. But let's go through a few reasons why New Year's resolutions don't work. But first, let me share with you my vision and goal for this community, for what I want, how I want to serve this year, how I want to show up. I get to guide people on a journey that I've been on for many years of creating alignment in their life, creating clarity, focus, presence, joy, more peace, and whatever it is they wish to create, but from a heart-centered space, because that's where the true success comes through. I want to connect people more with their intuition and have them lead their lives from a more powerful position than maybe they currently are. And it's not a process that happens overnight. It is a journey. I've taken many journeys with many mentors and people and programs over the years, and I am excited to pull from a lot of it, bring my own gifts to it to help people along. And for those of you who have been with me on this journey for a long time, I'm so grateful for you. So I've been doing a process like this for like the last 5, 6, 7 years. And if you haven't done this before and you've not been successful in what you're doing, creating this next year, then I suspect like you're looking for that deeper connection, that heart-centered connection as well. So reasons why New Year's resolutions typically don't work. Well, usually they're too vague. They are too lofty. They are just like, blah. Sometimes they are what we think we should do. So we're shoulding on ourselves. Well, I should lose some weight, or I should call my mom more, or I should, whatever it is, I should do this. And that doesn't really work because when we're looking at what other people think we should do and then embodying that is not connected to us. Sometimes we don't believe we can actually succeed in our goals. So like if it's a business goal or you want to create something in life, or maybe you start a homestead and you're like, okay, can I really do this? And so if we don't believe that we can achieve, then we won't achieve the goals. A lot of times we know the theory behind what we're doing, but we don't have a practice, a consistency, or habits that support our new outcome-based goals. And all of our old programming that we've built up over the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years can quickly and easily derail us. So I'm going to go through some processes over in what we do over this next year to help people reprogram for more success. Often our resolutions are suffering-based, like, okay, I have to deprive myself of this, instead of enjoyment-based or joy-based. It's like, okay, I can't eat this, I can't drink that, instead of, oh, I get to do this or I get to do that. A lot of times our goals or our resolutions are stressful versus joyous. We have to go to the gym. I have to do this. I have to get my journaling done. Instead of, I get to do this today, and here's why. And sometimes our goals aren't rooted in a strong why. Like maybe we know we should probably lose some weight or whatever it is, or do this in our business or do this in our relationship, but we don't have a strong enough why to keep us going and propelling us through. We're not connected to our heart. Like if you want to lose weight and you're going to have to like cut this or that out, but why is that important? What is that going to do 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years down the road? How is it going to impact your life, the way you play with your kids or interact with your coworkers? Whatever you're doing, why is that even more important? And then they're often SMART goals, boring, stuffy, rigid, uninspiring, SMART goals instead of heart-centered goals. So today we're going to tap into our hearts. Something I also find interesting, and let me know if you find this interesting too, is that a lot of times our resolutions are focusing on what we don't have, what we haven't accomplished, how we don't look, what we haven't done. Meanwhile, why can't we focus on where we have blessings in our life already, what we have been through, or how we've persevered, or what we already have, and be grateful for? A gratitude practice shifts your life significantly if you haven't started one yet. So what if I told you there is a different way to do this? I know that's why you're here today. You want to travel along a different path than just the stuffy old SMART goals. Today, I hope that you gain clarity, insight, some direction, and I hope that you leave feeling more connected with what you're trying to create in this next year, more connected to community and the outcomes of your goals. Although outcome-based goals are not as strong as progress-based goals, who you are becoming in the process, instead of, okay, I want to drop 10 pounds, and I keep using weight because it's like the most prevalent New Year's resolution goal. I want to drop 10 pounds. Well, who are you becoming as you create consistency in your workouts, in your exercise? Like, who are you? Are you becoming a stronger, healthier, more resilient individual? Can you carry more? Can you lift your groceries better? Do you have more stamina? Are you creating discipline and consistency? So who are you becoming as you go ahead and reach these resolutions or goals that you have? Okay, if you want to take a deeper dive, we're going to touch on a number of things today, but if you want to take a deeper dive into reflection and vision casting, then download the Reflect and Align workbook that I've created and put together this year for people. It's a 20 plus page workbook that you really want to dive into and relish. And there are 2 guided meditations as well. So the link is in the chat. I don't know if that'll work for you, depending on what kind of device you're on. And I'll put it in the recording as well. So it's a beautiful process. So who's ready to get started? Yay! I am. In fact, I already got started once. We're going to get started again. So one of the processes that I love to do when I'm connecting in with these things is use essential oils. And this isn't an oils class. If you're not an oiler, that's okay. My assumption is that most people on here will be. And so I use oils to support connection and create a feeling and tap into the emotional and energetic aspects. So if you saw my Instagram this morning, I did a process called aromatic dressing, where I use oils intentionally, use them in a carrier oil and throughout my whole body, applying them. And this is a process I discuss in my Align program. But this morning I chose cedarwood for creating community. That's one of my desires for today. Lavender for clear communication. I put it on my throat and obviously on my whole body with this process, because I have a lot of things to say of value, but I want them to land. So I hope I'm being clear today. I chose wild orange for abundance and joy, and geranium to connect in with the heart. This is the oil of love and trust. So if you've got oils on or oils near you right now, apply whatever you feel called to. Tap into your intuition there. And then I also have Malama. This is a nurturing blend in my diffuser, and I'm going to put on my wrist because I want to nurture this process with you. Okay, whether you're live or watching the replay. Renee says, amazing oils. I just blended them into my diffuser. Yeah. Cedarwood can be very grounding and centering. So that's a little bit about oils. I love applying them over the heart, wrists, back of neck, and putting them in diffuser for processes like this. And actually most of the day, all day long. If you know me, you know that I use oils a lot. Okay, so the next part of this is We're going to step into our heart space through some breathing. All right. So hopefully you're sitting comfortably. What I want you to do is like wiggle it all out, and we're going to follow along with some breathing. I'm going to turn my video off for the first part of it so I'm not distracting you. And we're going to step in. So if you're seated comfortably, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to start breathing in a relaxed way. I want you to relax your face, your jaw, your shoulders, your eyes, and begin breathing in and out in a steady, rhythmical way. Slow and steady. And as you focus on your breathing, I also want you to focus your attention on your heart area. If it feels right, put a hand over your heart and breathe a little deeper than normal. Maybe 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Now imagine breathing in and out through your heart, through the area of your chest. And as you're breathing, connecting in with your heart in a deep way. I want you to generate or activate a positive feeling right now. Gratitude, appreciation, care. And imagine that beaming out from your heart. You can recall a person, a place, an experience, maybe a pet that helps you feel these emotions. As you continue to breathe, I'm going to ask you some questions that I want you to consider, dropping into your heart and staying out of your head. Don't worry, I'll send these questions to you later, but when I ask them, what's the first thing that pops into your head? So stay connected to your heart. Know that it knows. It knows. Where can you be more present in your life in 2023? Is it in conversations? Is it with family? Can you be more present in your job? Where can I be more present? What are you looking forward to through this next year? Maybe it's seeing people, a vacation. Maybe you've got a big transition coming. And as you breathe in and out through your heart, what are you looking forward to in 2023? We learned a lot of lessons in 2022. Some of them may have been painful, maybe filled with grief, disappointment. What are you leaving behind? What can you let go of from 2022? Are there regrets that you're holding on to that impact your daily life or how you really want to be? Did you make some mistakes? Did you lose someone? What feelings can you let go of and leave behind in 2022? Every painful experience teaches us something. So, as you think of some of the things that you want to let go of from 2022, and you'll journal about this later, I want you to say thank you to those experiences because they have taught you something. And say thank you. And as you take your next exhale and breathe out, I want you to bless and release those feelings, experiences, people that you'd like to leave behind in 2022. Take a big cleansing breath, blow out, bless and release. And now, what do you want to take with you into 2023? Is there a process you started, a new routine, something that brought you joy that you want to carry through? New community, perseverance, peace. What do you want to take with you into 2023? And then, how do you want to be this year? What do you want to feel more of? Do you want to be more present? Do you want to be more focused? Do you want to be more flexible? How do you want to be? We do so much doing, but there's so much success in being. And then the last one, breathe in through your heart and out through your heart. Do you have a word that is you've picked as your guiding word for 2023? What's one word that you want to embody that can guide you in everything that you do? And if you don't have one yet, that's okay. We've got some processes. But what is your guiding word? It's the one that is like ringing in your ears right now, the one that makes your heart light up. And as we come back to the room, I want you to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So I hope you found that to be clarifying a little bit for you. We're going to do some pen to paper parts in a moment here, but when we do this heart-centered breathing, it really creates strong connection between our brain, our heart, and our energetic field. We create an electromagnetic field when we are using heart-focused breathing that not only impacts us, but also connects with people around us. So we're creating this energetic field, whether you're right here near me or in your own space right now. And I think that's so beautiful. I wish more people could do it. When we're doing heart-centered breathing, we're also connecting in more with our intuition. Our heart has an innate intelligence that we don't even fully understand yet. And when you connect with it, you'll gain greater insight, clarity, understanding, and connection with yourself and what you truly want. So I will email out and put in the recording some of those questions for you to reflect back on. A few of them are in the workbook as well. But we've just created a more coherent state in our bodies and in our hearts that supports clarity in our thinking, in our brain, and opens up those pathways of communication. So that's what you were just doing there. Okay, so pen to paper now. We're going to step a little bit into our logical brain, only from a writing perspective, but also we're going to go through some areas of our lives that we can focus on this year instead of creating I want to or I desire to. We're going to look at areas of our life to help us hone in on this. So, one thing I love doing is sharing wins and victories for 2022. Sometimes we don't go back and reflect on what are our wins? What did we accomplish? If we're projecting out and saying, oh, I still have to do this, or I haven't got this yet, or I'm not feeling this in my health or well-being or my relationships or whichever, then we're not counting our wins and victories. And we all have them. I promise you, you have many, many victories from 2022. So focus on big ones and small ones. And this is something you might want to write down later. So on your piece of paper, write wins and victories. And if it's possible, I mean, if you're on a phone, you might not be able to, but feel free to share some of your wins and victories. I'll share mine while you're thinking and writing down yours. But I had, like, when I was reflecting, I went back through all my pictures and who I saw this year and who I spent time with and what we started here on our homestead. And I was like, holy wow, our life moves pretty quickly. And I'm always doing something new. That's part of like a blessing and a bit of a challenge for me is I love new things as part of my design is I love creating, love new things. So this year, one of our victories was starting up some retreats here in person. Like they brought me so much joy and connection and they filled my cup in a way that was like, I can't even describe. After 2021, the distance, all the I don't even want to talk about it. It was so cup filling for me to connect with people through retreats. We started up some glamping here. That was really fun. I didn't know what I was doing, but we did it anyway because I learn really well by doing. I don't always have the full plan. I just put it in motion, trust the taps on my heart, and we go forward from there. I did more spiritual reading than I've ever done in my life. I committed to a number of different daily reading programs that I completed, and I'm pretty excited and proud of that. That seems like it's a small win because it's a daily consistency win, but a big win as well. And I did more yoga than ever before. Like, did you guys do more something that you're proud of as a victory? And for me, I got back on a horse and started riding again. And it had been quite some time since I'd really done much riding. So that was a little bit about what I created this year, some of the things anyway. Now, life lessons. This is your next category. What life lessons did you learn in 2022? Were there self-care areas that you need to expand on? Did you create better boundaries with anything in your life? Did you stretch outside your comfort zone in anything or try something new? Did you fail at something, or fail can be perception? Did you not complete something? Did you make some mistakes? And then what you want to spend some time reflecting on is, what did these things teach me? What life lessons in 22 did I learn? And what did they teach me? So I learned that I can do hard things. I can push bales of hay. I can go out in minus 27 and take care of things. I hate the cold. I don't really like winter, but I'm learning to like winter. And just really soak in what those lessons brought to your life. How did they enrich your life? They don't always have to be a negative thing. They could be, what did I learn from this? Okay. I learned I could do hard things and also learn new things. I know Renee, she launched some programs around connecting to the earth and plants and plant medicine. And like, I can't wait to learn more from her. She's on right now about foraging and the different medicinal values of plants. And yes, Renee, you'll have to come here in the spring and we'll do some things. I also learned it's okay to ask for help. I'm not so great at that, but I had to ask for a lot of help this year, and it ends up being a win-win. And that's not something that, like, as an independent, strong woman, asking for help isn't my strong suit. So, but what it gets to create is connection, is like relationship. So that's one of the things I learned too. Okay, so lessons. So we got wins and victories, lessons, and now I want you to look at your sheet of paper or start a fresh sheet. And on one side, so you're going to split it down the middle with a line. On the left side, you're going to write more of. On the right side, you're going to write less of. And this is a page in the workbook as well. But if you've already done it, you may come up with some new things after your meditation. So more of and less of. And this is something we did through our meditation. But what do you want to feel more of this year? What do you want to feel more of? What are some things that came to mind as we were going through our breathing with our eyes closed? I desire, I get to feel more joy, step more into joyful practices, more strength. So I'm committing to more strength workouts, and that's not just the functional stuff of moving hay and hauling water and the rest of it, but focus on those things. I want more presence. So being really present for my kids' sporting events, as many of them as I can. You know, I used to be someone who like worked their business really, really hard. So I always had my phone. I was always working on something while I was present there. And that's not presence. That's my admitting that's not me being present. I get to be present with people this year. So, what do you want more of this year? What do you want to feel more of? And then on the other side, what do you want less of? Like, there are certain things we want to cut out of our lives that aren't serving us, some things that we want to let go of. But what do you want less of? Could be less obligation, could be less distraction. Maybe it's less bills. Maybe there's a place where you can cut out some things. So, what is it that you want less of this year? You're going to want to add to this list as you go, because there are lots of things that probably will pop up. But for the sake of time, we will move on. Now we're going to really drill down onto specific areas so that we can take some of those from the list and new ones that come up and go through into different categories. Okay. So the first topic, the first category is self-care. And you're going to use this as a guide. For self-care, you can write down what do you want more of or what do you want less of. But I want you to really think of what nourishes you for self-care. What makes you feel rejuvenated for self-care? Maybe it's a bath. Maybe it's a spa day. But maybe it's just time in the morning by yourself with your coffee, reflecting and doing gratitudes. Maybe it's eating nourishing foods. Maybe your self-care that nourishes you is journaling. Maybe it's being with animals or outside. What nourishes you and has you feeling rejuvenated? Okay, it doesn't have to cost money, but it can cost money. You can create a number of lists. And then from that list, what do you want more of in your self-care? And at the end of this process, if you were to circle like one or two things in each category, that's what's going to guide you on how you can put into action and create what you want to in the next year, how you want to live. So under your self-care, are there areas of your life that you are nourishing that really fill you up? The next category is health. This is a big one, especially these days, but always. It's not even just these days, you guys. Is there an area in your health that you want to focus on? Is it getting more vegetables? Is it reducing sugar intake? Is it walking more or walking more after meals to help you level out your blood sugar? We also have a metabolic program you can check out later. And then whatever it is in your health, what are some behaviors and activities that you can do to move that area of health forward? So let's say it is losing weight. What are some activities or actions you can take? Well, you can eat more vegetables. And this is very vague, so you want to get it down. Like I'm going to eat more leafy greens. Or I'm going to have salads every day for lunch. Make it more concrete. Doesn't have to be smart, but it can be more concrete. And maybe you're setting up processes like in the morning. Maybe you're having a full glass of water with some oils in it or your collagen, your MetaPower, before you go ahead and have a coffee. Maybe you're cutting your sugar in half. Like, what is an area of your health that you want to focus on? Maybe it's skincare. Maybe it's getting consistent massages, because that also is part of self-care and fuels you up. Suzanne says she's okay, being okay with taking time for your health. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The guilt that women typically feel when they actually spend time on their health is very interesting. How we feel like we don't get to have that time. We do get to have that time. And walking more. Yes, walking is like one of the easiest, most phenomenal ways to improve your health and manage your blood sugar. Okay, so not just what in your health do you want more of and what do you want to focus on, but also what are some actions and steps. So those are follow-up questions for you later. Relationships, this is the next category. What kind of feelings do you want to create in your relationships? Not just like, hey, I want a better marriage, but what feelings do you want to create in your relationship with yourself? This is a category. With your loved ones, like your immediate family, maybe your spouse, maybe your kids, with your community. Do you want to create more fun, more playfulness, more joy, more connection, more gratitude? Do you want to make sure that person knows that you see them and hear them, that they're important to you? So what do you want to create in relationships in this next year? Jen, your sound's back on. Awesome. Sometimes it's operator rare and sometimes it's other things. It's all good. The next category is personal growth. What do you want to create, or what do you want to develop? What do you want to nurture in the area of personal growth this year? For me, it is taking more steps into gardening and harvesting and sustainability. Personal growth. I get to learn more horse skills and expand there. Consistency in the personal growth is an area that I get to focus on too. So the daily dedication to whatever it is I'm working on so that I complete things. I love starting things, you guys, but completing can be a challenge for me. That's my admission there. Okay, and then in personal growth, what actions can help you do that, whatever you want to develop this year? What is going to help activate that? Like maybe you're doing a course and you're thinking, okay, I am going to set aside 15 minutes in the morning to put those skills to work, or I'm going to in the evening, or whatever it is. What actions can help you step into where you want to align your personal growth this year? Spirituality. This is the next category. Where do you want to nurture, or what do you want to nurture in the area of spirituality this year? Whatever that looks like for you, whether it's spiritual reading or listening or podcasts or writing, attending church or a service or whatever that it means to you, a retreat. What do you want to develop in the area of spirituality this year? The next category is financial. What do you want to feel more of in finances this year? Not necessarily like, hey, I want to make this much money or whichever. Those can be goals too. It's good to have some concreteness there that you're working towards if they are heart-centered. And in our Align program, I'll teach you how you actually know if that is a goal that is connected to you or not through connecting with your intuition. But what do you want to feel more of? Do you want to feel more peace in your finances, more ease in your finances, more focused on your finances? You want more trust with money? Do you want more healing around your money story? I don't have a money program, but there are lots of money programs out there that you can take. If you need recommendations, reach out after. And something to consider in this area is what actually makes you feel abundant. Like money doesn't have to be the only form of abundance. Numbers in bank accounts. I've had lots of money in bank accounts. I've had very little money in bank accounts. I've had a range over the last 20 years. And that number doesn't always reflect into the feeling of abundance. Abundance can feel like buying yourself flowers once a month. Abundance can feel like, I don't know, a fresh cozy sweater. Like abundance doesn't have to be dollar values. It can be a lot of different things. It can be like just walking around and appreciating nature or the area you live in. Abundance doesn't have to be money. The next category is career. If you have a job or a career, or maybe you're retired, I know Jenny's retired, but what might you want to create in the area of career? Even when we're retired, there are things that we're working on, right? So projects or hobbies or community support things. What are you creating? Maybe it's relationships in whatever facet of work. And what are you producing? I know, for example, Jenny, she is retired and she makes the materials for the Days for Girls feminine hygiene kits. So she's creating and producing with that organization, even though she's retired. Right? Renee is creating programs. Suzanne sees clients. It's what are we creating and what are we producing? And is it of value? Right? Is it going to serve? Is it going to show up and help somebody? That's important to me. Fun. This is the next category. What are you going to do for fun this year? What is fun? What is fun? One exercise is to create a joy list. So 10 things that bring you joy that are free, and 10 things that bring you joy that maybe cost money. Could be a little bit of money, could be more money, but create a joy list. What do you want to do for fun this year? What do I want to do for fun this year? I have to think about this one, actually. I know it involves more around horses and retreats, but I have to think about this one. But if you have something, how do you want to have more fun this year? Tell me how that is. Okay. Give me some ideas too. I need to create my joy list. All right. Then the last one is community. What do you want to create in your community this year? Could be your family reunion trip. Yes, Renee. Oh my gosh. That's in my vision for that was in my vision a few years ago, and then all the travel challenges, but that's somewhere in my vision. Actually, family reunion, like party, corn roast, just a big event in the back of my property. That lights me up. That makes me happy. I want to do that. I want to have more fun this winter. Sledding, and I don't know if you guys saw, but like we had so much snow before Christmas, like 4 feet, and I was determined I am going to have an outdoor fire. Having a fire, so I dug out the fire pit. The snow was higher than our Muskoka chairs by like maybe a foot in some areas, and then I banked it up too. So I made this outdoor fire pit, and it made me so happy. I probably spent a good 12 hours outside around the fire in the days following that. So that is an example of creating more fun. I'm not saying you guys do 4 feet of snow, but just like how can you create more fun? Community. So what do you want to create in your community? More connection. Is there a place that you want to give back? If you're someone who's an entrepreneur, like, are you creating something for your community that is also free or that serves? For me, again, the retreat connection is huge. And I am creating a community, a live aligned community where I want to connect people who are on this path and journey as well of just bettering themselves, connecting with their heart and intuition, and finding practical ways to do that through breath work, through oils, through different practices that will teach you. So that's my vision on community, and then the in-person portion of retreats and glamping. I love it. I love connecting with people. So as you go back through this list, so what do we have here? We have self-care, health, relationships, personal growth, spirituality, finances or financial, career, fun, and community. Look at those lists and really focus on like what are 1 or 2 areas, because you can't do it all, guys. I mean, you can accomplish a few things and then adjust and reflect on this process maybe quarterly or June or July, and then re-navigate the rest of the course of the year. But what's an area or 2 that's realistic, that's heart-centered for you, that you want to focus on, that you feel like you can complete, you can make forward progress on? And it's not about perfection. I want each and every one of you to let go of the perfection Wendy, you too. Um, Speaking of perfection, yesterday I created a graphic. My husband's going out to adjust horses like east of us this weekend. And like I spent so much time being so picky on which horse graphic was in the picture that I was like, what am I doing? Who cares? Just get the information out there so you can show up and serve. But perfection. Let go of perfection and focus on progress, because our year doesn't, like, at the end of the year, okay, that's it, it's all done. No, we get to keep progressing on this journey. So how can you create forward movement in these areas, in the one or two sections that you highlighted? And I especially want you to continue to reflect back on the fun piece. Inject some more fun into your life this year. It's been so like meh the last couple of years. So how can you inject more fun? Okay. So the next thing we're going to think about, and we've got maybe about 10 or 15 more minutes. When you reflect back, what actions or activities can you take into the years that will support you in the movement forward? So how do we want to show up in our goals? When we show up with like, oh, I have to do this, like I mentioned before, it's not, I would be surprised if you were able to continue to follow up with your goals or your resolutions or how you want to feel this year. But like when you're doing something that you want to make progress in, how do you want to show up in that? Like, oh my gosh, I get to work on this today. Not, oh gosh, I have to work on this today. Oh, I get to go for a walk right now. Not like, oh, I have to go for a walk. I need my whatever steps. And I've been stuck in the step thing before. I don't wear a Fitbit anymore. And then how do you want to be during them? How can you step into joy and alignment as you're progressing through? On your day-to-day life, what are, and you can reflect back on your list, what are one or two things that really light you up? Last year, I know when I was doing this process, I was like, it lights me up to go for a walk in nature, whether I'm talking to my mom on the phone at the same time, listening to a podcast at the same time, walking the dogs and not listening to anything and just really focusing on what's around me. But going for walks really lit me up. It put me into a creative space. It allowed me a break during the day to, come back refreshed. If I did it before the kids came home from school, then I was like a new mom, more patient, more like less in my head, more in my heart. Lighting me up, breath work really lights me up because I know the power of it and how it can quickly shift and transition feelings and focus and alignment. And and it's so fast. So it's like, okay, well, I can do this for a few minutes. So those are a couple of things that light me up. Going out and seeing my horses, as long as it's not raining and yucky. I mean, I don't love that, but spending time with them, and instead of looking at it like it's a chore, looking at it like I get to do this, because literally it's a dream I probably had. Not I probably. It's a dream I had as a kid to have horses, and that never felt like it was going to be something that was possible for me. I lived in the city. How could I have horses? But here we are, and I'm 44, and here's what we have. So it's interesting how we can create when we're following our desires. Okay, the next section is about your guiding word. Okay, we all have, these can come from your core values or something that you want to embody this year, what popped up in your mind during our meditation. But we all have core values that guide us into alignment. And let me know, have you ever done a core values exercise before? I know I hadn't done one till like, I don't know, about 5 years ago. I was like, what is this thing? And when we know our core values, they guide us and they help us on our roadmap in life. They help us navigate every experience, and you have them whether you know or not. These are well, they're your core values. I don't know how to put it any other way. Maybe your core values, love or passion, adventure, truth, success, happiness. So think about a few things right now that you use to guide your decision making and your activities. For me, fun. Something has to be fun and creative. Authenticity is important to me. Creating and connection are important to me, but those are just, and joy. But those are a few words that come to my head. There are lots of really great core values exercises that you can go through, and they are big, long lists of words that you circle. What's important to you? Does this word speak to you? Maybe it's honesty, trust, passion, integrity, success, happiness, whatever those words are. And then you whittle the words down to like, you choose 10 out of there, and then you choose 5 out of there. I have the whole core values list on the Align program, but you can easily Google and find different core values exercises. And you might find your guiding word from that list. But figure out what your core values are. We don't have time to do that in this. And then use those as your roadmap for guiding you through the activities and the progress that you want to make in 2023 and each and every year. And your core values typically don't change. I mean, they may morph a smidgen, but like if respect is important to you, it's probably always been important to you. It probably always will be, but these are your guiding principles, and we all have them. But yeah, go through the Align program, or you can Google core values exercises online. So who chose a word for this year? If you did, write it in the chat. If you didn't yet, that's okay. But let me know what your word is. Well, I'll start back a couple years ago while you guys are writing. In 2020, you remember what that was like? My word was peace. It was on the front of my journal. It was a word that I reflect on every day. I had it on the inside of my bathroom mirror, and it was peace in the chaos. And so how could I find more peace today? If I was feeling frazzled, how can I find more peace? In this activity, how can I find more peace? In this conversation, how can I find more peace? Because life felt really, really unsteady at that time. We were making our big transition here. We were building a house. Like the world was doing what it was doing. And peace was something that I really wanted to sink into. In 2021, as we progressed here and like opened up our lives here, my word was alignment. How can I bring my life? There's so many possibilities. How can I bring my life in alignment with how I truly want to be, how I truly want to serve? Like what's aligned with our financial goals? What is aligned? Alignment was 2021. And this year, and then kind of like September, my word was switching, and it has stayed the same, and it will stay the same for 2023. My word is expansion. How is what I'm doing today expanding something for me? Whether it's expanding relationships, expanding what we offer here, expanding my community, expanding my presence, expanding my spirituality. How am I expanding? Expansion is my guiding word for 2022. And it seems like a really expansive year. I have quite a few friends who are like, that's my word too. I'm like, awesome, we'll all expand together. This is great. But expansion, and what you want to do with your guiding word is keep it close, keep it handy. And then also reflect back on it often. And how do you want to embody that in your activities of your day? In my yoga practice, how can this be expansive for me today? So maybe in my yoga practice, I am like opening up my heart and remaining open to possibilities of what's dropping in intuitively during my session, or expanding my physical body in a way that is healthy. So that is for me. And it's how you want to step into each and every day. So again, keep that handy. So that is a little bit of a journey of how you can transition from one year to the next. So a bit of reflection, tapping into your heart, looking at the more of, less of, drilling down and going into specific categories of how you want to feel in those different categories, or what you want to accomplish on your journey. Remembering that it's a process, it's a journey, it's not like perfection and I must do this. And if you fall off on any of them, I don't suspect that you will fall off, because they're actually like heart-centered. Like I looked at my more of, less of list from last year, and I was like, yeah, like I don't arrive at peace. I'm not a monk. I continue to work on that. And it's interesting how many of them carry forward. And then there are some things you'll let go of as well. You're like, you know what? That's no longer aligned with me. I'm letting that go, or I am releasing that because here's where I'm focusing. So if you want to step deeper into the process, again, look at that Live Aligned workbook. You can also join me in the Align program. So this is a 4-week program where I'm guiding people through some of this process through the workbook, but then how do we embody it? How do we create habits, consistency, practices, and use tools that will give us success in creating alignment in our life, in those core values, in our different areas that we're focusing on, and what we're creating in our lives. So the Align program is broken down into 4 themes over 4 weeks. The first is reflect and prepare. The second is calm and connect. The third is we're going to anchor in habits and anchor in processes. And then the fourth is activate. We're going to activate as we go out through the next year. So that is a possibility for you guys as well. I will link those up in an email for you if you're not already part of it. I know a few of you are, so I'm grateful to have you in the maiden voyage of the Align program. This will be a yearly program that I offer at the transition of the year because it's just been such a anchoring and aligning process for me over the last 5-6 years. And I know it's not a process that I'll be letting go of, because it's like sailing your ship with a rudder. Like you have something to guide you, not just feeling like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? So you can connect in with that. I will put the link below as well. Actually, let me do that right now. And let me know, do you have any questions? Oh, the Align program is now $55 for the 4-week program and all the tools. Because you guys joined me here, you can get it for $44 if you're not already on it. If you did miss the early bird, well, then you missed the early bird. And one more thing I wanted to tell you about my next masterclass, I've actually already pre-recorded it. But if some of the breathing there or breath work interests you, I have a top 10 reasons to try breath work, and some of them might surprise you. So that's already created for you. I'll actually open it up on the Live Aligned community and I'll send it the link as well. But I know that this is a powerful tool that we can link into every single day to ground us, to center us, to help us continue on our journey of what we're creating in the next year. So let me know if you have questions. If you watch the replay, awesome. If you have anything that you would love to see in this community or more of, I'm completely open to possibility. I'm open to collaborations. I've got a couple of things in mind with the people in the community already. And just like bring people together in a beautiful way where we're all moving forward. Okay. So that's it for today, you guys. Thank you for your patience in the volume issue on take 1. I'll post this in the Live Align community and I will send out an email to you guys. You guys have a super fabulous day.